one of the really awesome things about aging. And I was self-destructive when I was younger, but there's certain things I was always really neurotic about and very protective about, like my hearing. My sister was a nurse, and she was in nursing school when I was a kid, and we shared the same fold-out couch in this bedroom, and so she was always really neurotic about my hearing. Like I was closer to the radio, so you know, she would always say like, "Oh, turn it down," and I wouldn't even be able to hear it. Like I'd have to strain to hear it, and I wouldn't go to like, I haven't been to a lot of like concerts. Like I haven't been to any concerts that would hurt you, and like I've been very like I don't turn my headphones up and stuff. And about 10 years ago, I started getting tinnitus, and you know that kind of is a drag because everything like you can't hear anything except this horrible buzzing sound that sounds like the hearing test from the third grade, and it does make you want to kill someone, but it only lasts for a little while. So, you know, and one of the other things is I'm starting to mishear people. So it's not that I can't hear you; it's that I completely like I didn't hear enough of what you said. So I was at my in-laws, and my in-laws are very waspy and very well put together, and just incredibly presentable people, like very, academic and um, upper middle class, and super nice, and nothing negative is ever spoken out loud. It's all sublimated, and it's a very very nice household, and like clean, and everyone's nice to each other, and there's no interruptions, and nobody gets drunk, and nobody bleeds, and nobody cries. So I feel very out of place when I'm there because, the family I grew up in, like, if there wasn't like somebody passed out drunk, somebody bleeding, and somebody crying, it was actually not a family gathering. Like, you had to have those three elements. Um, and so they're very upstanding people. And because I'm starting to mishear things, I just don't react. I've just learned not to say anything when I think I heard you say something that sounds crazy and ridiculous. So my father-in-law is talking about restaurants in Palo Alto and how, he has a favorite restaurant, and he says it's the best lamb chop in town. Now, because my hearing is going, what I heard him say was it's the best hand job in town. And I kind of look around for social cues because I'm like, did he just say the best hand? Oh my God. And, no one else is reacting. So I assume that I've misheard what he said. So, later on, I have to talk to my girlfriend, like, what did he say? Because I didn't actually hear him. What I heard, and these are big laughs, but sometimes it can lead to some socially awkward situations. Like, God, it seems like every time I turn around, it used to be LGB community. It used to be like the gay community, and then it was like LGB, and then it was like LGBT, and then it's LGBTQ, and now it's LGBTQI, and I don't even know what the fuck I stands for. Like, interested, interesting. Uh, I mean, I don't even know. Intersex? Is it intersex? I don't even know. T is trans, and Q is either questioning or queer. I've heard both. I mean, holy shit! I swear to God, because I live in the transgendered capital of the freaking world, which is great. It's great. God love the trannies, but oh my God, oh my God, it's like there are no more lesbians under the age of 30 anymore. They're all becoming little short, angry dudes with little beards, like angry dwarves, little angry former lesbian dwarves who have the intellect and education of an angry lesbian who's like, we like to read about genocide and, being lesbians, like being like just majoring in bad news all the time. Like we always have to know about like the worst possible thing. Like you could be like, "Hey, I took a trip to Asia," and lesbians are like, they have slaves over there, and they're, we always have to tell you the bad news. It's like it's genetic. There's nothing I can do to change it. I can't dance. I can't dress, and I have to tell you like the bad news about stuff. That's just part of being a lesbian. And anyway, so trans people are, you know, I always have to stop and think about this, the female to male, the F to M's, they're like, they have my capacity for bad news, and then they have testosterone. They're on like 3 times the legal limit because they have to get the testosterone levels up in their systems in order to, you know, become men. Because you don't just, you know, you don't get that much testosterone at one time without somebody paying for it. So then they're like really aggressive, angry. They're like more aggressive, angrier lesbians who look like dwarves. So it's I gotta say it's interesting, and I really like, I kind of, I like living in San Francisco because I get to be kind of in the cozy middle of things. Like, I'm not vegan, but I can bait the vegans. You know, all I have to do is like talk about cheese or eat a piece of cheese in front of them and they freak out, man. Or, you know, so I'm not vegan. I don't have any tattoos. I don't do drugs. I don't stay up past 10 o'clock at night. I really am like a CPA here. Any place else, I'm like, you know, the cutting edge of, you know, diversity. But here, I'm middle of the road, which is awesome. And so I kind of know what it's like to be around lesbians because of the F to M's. And I gotta say, I'm a little afraid to talk to them because they get angry and they yell at you and they tell you how you're wrong and how you're oppressive because you're wearing jeans, and jeans are only for. And it just keeps getting stranger. And I think sometimes it's just better not to say anything at all. So there's this, you know, in October, there's this National Coming Out Day, which when you're young and gay, you know, you feel like the need to tell people because, you know, if everybody knew how many gay people there really were, then people wouldn't be so homophobic because they would just realize how many freaking many of us there are, and they would just, you know, feel afraid. So we should all just come out at the same time on the same day, and it's a big thing, and silence equals death, and long live Keith Haring, and blah 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 blah. So when you're younger, you know, you feel like it's important and stuff, and um, I don't come out to people anymore because I've been cultivating the gay thing for such a long time now that I just figure, like, if you can't tell that I'm gay when you meet me, then the next time somebody tells me that gay sex is unnatural or gay relationships are unnatural, I just have one word for them: turducken. That is like, what kind of freak came up with that idea? So I'm hanging out with some friends and 2 gay guys I know, and one of them grew up with 7 sisters. He was the only boy. Obviously, the parents worked really hard until they got the boy, and then they stopped. Whatever. 7 sisters, and I'm like leaning on my elbow, and I'm introducing them, and for the first time, and the one with 7 sisters just immediately says, "Oh, you have cramps," because he has 7 sisters, so he knows, you know, what's going on. And I was like, yeah, I feel awful. And he's like, you know, I just got oral surgery and I have some Vicodin. I totally have I'm not going to take it if you want it. And I sit up on the couch upright immediately and I'm like, Vicodin? Yeah, that would be awesome because I feel really bad. And my other friend, you know, he looks at me and he's like, with all this concern, all this social worky concern, you know, his little eyebrows are knitted. Oh, do you think you like Vicodin too much? Do you think do you think you might have a problem? And I looked at him and I said, "Are your genitals bleeding?" And he said, "No." And he looked terrified and I said, "Then shut